All right, there's actually a handful of NBA teams that need to quote unquote blow it up and just hit the restart button just in general. We're going to cover the Western Conference and Eastern Conference teams in the NBA, and this could range from around 5 to 10 different teams, which is kind of crazy to say, but which really needs to happen. So we're going to start off in the Western Conference. Number one is going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, they do have a 4-12 record, bottom of the Western Conference in general. And the Minnesota Timberwolves, some people don't really like this option. They want to keep Cat. I've always stated since I've had the channel, Karl-Anthony Towns is a beta. He is not an alpha. He cannot be your number one guy, and he has to leave Minnesota. Pretty much he's been there, like 6 or 7 seasons or so. They made the playoffs only once, and that's when they quickened the process by bringing in Jimmy Butler, Taj Gibson, Jamal Crawford, Tom Thibodeau, and paired that team together. That team finished as an 8 seed and lost to the Houston Rockets in 5 games in the first round. Ever since Jimmy Butler left, the team so far has never made the playoffs back again. They let go of Andrew Wiggins, and then also in the past, Zach LaVine was out. Basically what I'm saying is Karl-Anthony Towns cannot lead you to the playoffs, and there's no direction to grow with him on the team. He's probably around 24 to 26 years of age. Cat needs to go. He needs to get out of there. He needs to be a number 2 option for another team and another franchise. You were able to draft Anthony Edwards and get the first pick in the draft, which is a good direction. You brought in D'Lo as of last season to check out how he plays with Karl-Anthony Towns and himself. It's not a good duo. It's nothing that's effective. At the end of the day, you're not getting anywhere if you're the Timberwolves. They tried to make some veteran moves by bringing in Ricky Rubio, and then you had the Malik Beasley situation go down with, so they're a mess in general. The Minnesota Timberwolves need to hit the reset button. They need to trade away D'Angelo Russell. They need to let go of Karl-Anthony Towns by stacking up first-round picks, and maybe you can get a young stud for Karl-Anthony Towns. Maybe like a Jaylen Brown, maybe a Michael Porter Jr. with some other pieces. Something along those range, but you can get a good, not an overhaul price for Cat, but you can get good pieces for him. So the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're not going to make the playoffs. Another year wasted. They need a new direction. The next team that needs to rebuild and blow it up, I'm not going to go too deep into this next team, which is the Sacramento Kings, but I'll jump in a little more here. They have a 6-10 record. They have not made the playoffs in around 2 decades or so. Vlade Divac has no idea what he's doing. Basically, De'Aaron Fox re-signed for 5 more years to be extended. That's the all-star they need to keep with to be box office and keep within their team. Now, when it comes to any other players within the franchise that needs to stick around with De'Aaron Fox, there's not that many in general. They need to let go of Buddy Hield, they need to let go of Harrison Barnes, and they need to let go of Luke Walton. Because there's no true direction, there's no true structure and organization when it comes to the Sacramento Kings. And if you're management in general, you may want to do a sidestep and pretty much want to move away from Sacramento, and maybe you want to go to the Seattle Supersonics and become that new team, because in the next 3 to 5 seasons, you're not going to make the playoffs. You have no true direction. No free agents want to go to Sacramento, and you're kind of stuck where you're at. So the Kings need to let go of pretty much those 3 players and coaches and kind of start a new direction, maybe a new city, and get some new spice, something, because it's been 2 decades already. It's ridiculous. So they need to blow it up, and they need to move out as it is. The next team in the West is going to be the Houston Rockets. So James Harden is out of the picture. Same thing with Russell Westbrook. Mike D'Antoni is gone. Daryl Morey. This has all happened within 3 to 4 months in that picture, maybe even less. But the Houston Rockets, I don't like their roster. Actually, whenever they got Karis LeVert part of that trade and they traded away for Victor Oladipo, I have no idea what the Rockets are doing. They need to blow it up. So you have a weird mix. I mean, a team of John Wall, Victor Oladipo, DeMarcus Cousins, Christian Wood, PJ Tucker, Eric Gordon. Some of these other pieces, I don't understand the mix. I guess they're trying to be competitive for this season, and they want to address blowing up or making moves in the offseason, which seems like the case, but the Houston Rockets are at a 6-9 record. They're not going to get anywhere. They're not going to make the playoffs. So the Rockets, if anything, by the trade deadline, they need to let go of John Wall. They need to let go of DeMarcus Cousins. They got to, if anything, you keep Christian Wood and you kind of use him as the future, not as a main guy, but he's a great piece for them. You got to trade away PJ Tucker, Eric Gordon, keep Daniel House, keep Ben McLemore, some of these young pieces, and just retain draft picks and maybe some young studs. But the Rockets have some good pieces to trade away to retain draft picks. So the Rockets need to blow it up. Do I expect them to do so? No. Knowing the Rockets, they're not going to let go of John Wall, Boogie, and Victor Oladipo. Looks like, if anything, they'll send away PJ Tucker, maybe Eric Gordon, but they need to blow it up in general. And they need to follow along what the OKC Thunder did, because the Thunder right now have a better record than any of those teams I mentioned. They're 7-9. They're competitive. They're young. They have a 17 to 18 first-round picks, and they're good with. So the Thunder rebuild perfectly, and they're looking very good. The next team in the West and the last team that needs to rebuild is going to be the San Antonio Spurs. They do have a 9-8 record, 9th in the West. They're competing for that 8th seed in the Western Conference. But I've stated this. I was shocked that DeMar DeRozan opted into this contract. I'm shocked they didn't. They did not even trade away LaMarcus Aldridge, Rudy Gay, Patty Mills, or DeMar DeRozan. Those 4 vets need to get out of there. They're around a year or 2 seasons long overdue on the Spurs. The Spurs should have rebuilt and blew it up around a season ago, especially this season, but I don't know what they're doing. They got some nice young pieces with Dejounte Murray, Brian Forbes, Derek White, and there's like 2 other players as well, but the Spurs just need to hit that restart button, blow it up. Popovich needs to retire or go to a new franchise, but I don't like the Spurs. They're doing nothing. They're in mediocrity right now. And LaMarcus Aldridge, he should have left that team 2 seasons ago. I don't know why he's still on the Spurs as of right now. But whatever. But the Spurs, they need to blow it up. So in the West, the Timberwolves, the Kings, the Rockets, and the San Antonio Spurs need to blow it up. And next video, we'll cover more into the Eastern Conference.